Jeet was my first friend. In fact, we were born 7 days apart and we became friends for almost like day one. Our parents were pretty close friends, and I don't know how they planned it, but we were born in the same nursing home just 7 days apart. Jeet is the way he would share his stories and talk about his experiences around the world. Maybe experiences at a war front, or maybe flying a plane or drinking his favorite whiskey. But he has a story about everything. And Anamitra, this is for you. He told me how much of stability you brought into his life. And he went on to say that, he really admires you for the way you've supported him. And you supported him in everything that he did to make him successful. And I've seen you in the last 4 or 5 years as a caregiver. Not even once, in spite of what the situation was, did you let your shoulders droop. You really made it matter. The way you pulled the family together, you've been an extremely brave girl. And Aryaman, this is for your super dad, right? He's been a superhero. The superhero with the titanium leg. The superhero whose superpower was his smile.
I remember him from early classes of the C section of our school. We shared the same class right from class 1. A frail-looking boy with a smile. This is the image which will stay etched in my memory throughout my life. At once I was struck by the radical change life had dealt him, and which he had embraced with so much confidence and humility. And he was in such a profession which I somehow could never have related with the frail boy I knew in school. Only Anna, as we called him, could be such a person who could leave such a huge impact in such a short time.
Remembering our dear friend Jeet, fondly known as Loga by us, the motley crew of childhood friends from Suren Tagore Road. For me, Jeet, you'll always be there amongst us with your ready wit, your Brit humor, and the who gives a damn attitude. And of course, those hilarious stories of yours. We will never forget the story you shared one day, that you flew a Boeing 737 over our para and waved us from there while we were playing cricket. But jokes apart, I don't think any other group of friends would have had as much fun as we did while growing up in Suren Tagore. You and I spent a lot of time listening to music at your place and mine, and talking about new bands that we were hearing for the first time. And I'm eternally indebted to you for introducing Little River Band to me. You gave me the album, the vinyl of Time Exposure. Thank you for everything, my friend. God bless you and keep rocking. And in the words of those 4 guys from Liverpool, in my life, I love you more.
To say something about Loga, and I'm only thinking about those few afternoons that I spent with him whenever I came down from the hills and I said, Loga, I'm in Delhi. And he would say, Chole immediately. And the one memory that always rings true in my mind is when I asked him, Loga, how is it possible that you know everything? Why are you such a shobjanta? And the answer that he smiled and gave me was, because I know everything. And it was such a matter of fact answer. I think I'll never forget Loga only because of this answer. I love you wherever you are.
Generous friend with a great sense of humor, sometimes wicked. Jeet was the first one amongst us who started traveling abroad for work. So one day the rest of the guys caught hold of him and they badgered him that they wanted cigarettes, foreign cigarettes. So he kind of said, "Theek hai, next time." Soon he went somewhere and we were all waiting in bated breath for him to return. I guess some of us even dreaming of Sobranes and the Rothmans and how to flaunt it, etc. I recall Jeet walking in with a smirk on his face and a box in his hand. He got a carton of India Kings from probably Hong Kong. And the rest of the guys were like, "How could you do this to us?" And he was laughing away and said that you guys wanted cigarettes from duty free. Here I got you one, so le pocha, what is the problem?
There are so many stories regarding Jeet, but the one that comes to mind is when I was kidnapped from office one fine afternoon. At 2 o'clock he calls me on a weekday and he says, "Didi, just come down. So I said, Dada, what's happened? Is there an emergency? He says, just come down. Don't ask me any questions. Just run down. And he's waiting there by the car. So I said, what happened? Is everything okay? He said, nothing. Everything is just fine. You're going to have jalebi.
Hi, Chakla. You know, it sucks that you had to leave us. You were actually the very first one from Monisha's side that reached out to me and added me on Facebook. When Monisha and I were in Delhi, you really took care of us even though circumstances were not good. We had so much fun. I absolutely loved how wise yet kind you were. You'll always be my favorite. You'll always be my Prem Chopra. I'll always love you.
Chakla, cheers to you, your favorite single malt. I'm missing you. We met in 1985. Dabu and I were standing outside St. Thomas and you walked over, I still remember. You walked over and said hi to us and we became friends after that. Soon after, within a year, we were labeled bad company because you, me and Dabu got into so much of trouble all the time. Bunking class, going for swimming, going for walks in the Maidan and doing crazy stuff. Eventually, you and I met again in New Delhi and we spent about 3 or 4 years together in that apartment. I still can't figure out how and why we stayed so dirty. I remember this one time that on a Monday morning I was going to work and you were laying down on your bed. Until Wednesday morning you were still there in the same position. I still haven't figured out after 30 plus years, what were you doing for 2.5 days? Sleeping on the same bed, the same position. Well, there was another thing that I remembered about you. That one time that we were having a conversation about airplanes and Dhruv and Dabu were flying a lot those days and you were into photography and you knew so much about airplanes that you almost shot those two guys up. It amazes me till the time that I knew you and our last encounter in New Delhi with Renuma and our talks about Bara Kebab and single malt and of all the great things that I've always known you for and talked to you about.
His passion for aviation is unparalleled. Anytime we discussed aviation, his face will all light up, and the amount of information which he had probably is more than most of us who have been engaged in aviation. And that is something which I was always in awe of about Jeet, And as we say in aviation, as we keep going through various checks every 6 months, there's a statement which we all make when a friend moves on to a different world. To fly west, my friend, is a flight we all must take for the final check.
He was unique, man of very special talents, and I know that's not news, but yeah, he was. And the thing that really caught my eye was his ability or his unique gift to be liked by people. The strange thing was that he never actually tried to be liked by people. He didn't suck up to people. He wasn't a yes man. In fact, on the contrary, he was very much his own person. He would do things his way, and yet everybody liked him. I've yet to see someone who had anything bad to say about him. Okay, I have to admit that there were certain teachers in school who would throw us out of class with a regularity that defies belief, but I guess we deserved that one. I shall miss him more than I can describe. I shall miss his never say die attitude. I shall miss his counsel. I shall miss our long chats over all sorts of things like food and watches and National Geographic and photography and cameras. Oh yeah, the arguments we had about cameras, that was legend.